You can tell a lot about a city's true values, not from the big, fancy slogans, but from how it deals with something as basic as leftover food. So today, let's dive into how one city is completely flipping the script on what it means to care for its people. So think about this for a second. What if getting a little help wasn't about standing in a line, feeling kind of exposed? What if it felt more like, I don't know, just picking up a package you ordered online? That's the big question behind this incredible new program in Shenzhen. See, this isn't just about handing out food. It is a fundamental redesign of charity itself. It's what happens when a city starts to think like a product manager, where the most important thing is the experience of the end user.
Okay, so how does this whole thing actually work on the ground? Let's start with what you'd see if you were just walking down the street.
Just imagine you're walking along and you see what looks like a big, sleek, modern vending machine. But here's the twist. Instead of taking your money for a soda, it's holding surplus bread, fruit, and veggies from local shops, and it's available around the clock for free. But honestly, the lockers are just the beginning. The real genius here is how the system builds a totally different kind of experience for the person who actually needs the food. And using it couldn't be simpler. You just open up an app on your phone, see what's available, reserve what you need, and boom, you get a code. Then you just head over to the cabinet and pick it up. The whole thing is designed to feel exactly like grabbing a package from a delivery locker. And here's where it gets really clever. The system is smart. So before 8 p.m. every night, it gives priority access to the city's most vulnerable folks. But after 8 p.m., to make absolutely sure nothing, and I mean nothing, goes to waste, any food that's left over becomes available to any citizen. It's just a brilliant way to balance targeted help with total efficiency. And that gets to the absolute heart of the matter. By making the whole process anonymous and just so seamless, the design intentionally gets rid of that feeling of shame that can sometimes come with asking for help. It's all about preserving dignity through really thoughtful design. Okay, but a huge question probably pops into your head, right? For a system like this to actually work, people have to trust that the food is safe. So let's take a look at the logistics going on behind the scenes. First off, there's a really important rule. You can't just drop off your own leftovers. I mean, the intention is great, of course, but the system has to rely on a super tightly controlled supply chain to guarantee food safety. And the safety measures, they are seriously thorough. All the food comes only from qualified partners, like big supermarkets. It's all transported in a strict cold chain to these cabinets, which are always kept below 10 degrees Celsius. There's a double screening process. The donor does one check, and then a third-party team does another. On top of that, every single item is traceable, and higher-risk foods are just not allowed. Period. So with all this incredible tech and careful planning, is it actually making a difference? Well, let's look at the numbers. Get this, since it kicked off in May of 2022, the program has already seen almost 500,000 individual redemptions. That is a massive amount of food that's getting to people who need it instead of just ending up in a landfill. But numbers only tell part of the story. You can really hear the impact in people's own words. This comment from a local citizen, it just gets right to the heart of it. It's about feeling cared for by your city in a way that's genuinely helpful and, convenient. And it's not just folks in Shenzhen who are impressed either. This whole initiative has kind of gone viral, with people all over the world calling it a brilliant idea with equally good execution. It just goes to show how truly innovative this model is on a global scale. Now, while Shenzhen is getting all these headlines, and for good reason, it's really important to see this as part of a much bigger story, a bigger evolution in food aid. This idea didn't just appear out of nowhere. It's been evolving for years. Shanghai's Oasis Food Bank started playing with similar ideas way back in 2014, and in just a decade, they've saved over 8,000 tons of food. Shenzhen basically took that foundation and supercharged it with slick app technology to create the 24/7 system we see today. And when you put it side by side with the more traditional models, the difference is just stark, right? While older systems are often centralized, focused on bulk logistics, Shenzhen's whole approach is decentralized and completely obsessed with the user's experience, making it anonymous, convenient, and most of all, dignified. But, and this is a big but, you can't just copy and paste this model everywhere. It's not that simple. In some countries, for instance, businesses are way more worried about lawsuits if someone gets sick. And then you've got things like franchise business models, which make a unified, nationwide program a lot harder to pull off. So after all that, what's the big takeaway here? What does this all tell us about where things are headed? Here's what it all boils down to. When you start applying the principles of user-centric design to big social problems, you can create solutions that aren't just compassionate, but are also incredibly effective. Shenzhen's model really is a powerful glimpse into the future of urban care. Which kind of leaves us with one final big question to chew on. As our cities get smarter and smarter, how are we going to make sure we blend all that technology with real humanity? How do we use these amazing new tools to build a more caring and supportive society for everyone?